Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an attorney. I've specialized in this space for the last 13 years of a 16-year legal career. I want to talk to you about how my legal career started in this space. It was representing insurance companies. It was representing insurance companies in the big buildings with numerous floors occupied by lawyers. And I didn't spend much time getting to do that type of law on that side because I constantly was being pulled into partners' offices saying, "You're not billing the files enough. You're settling these cases too fast. We have to make our money also." But what's interesting about that side of the aisle is when insurance companies and insurance defense attorneys bill the insurance companies, that cost is factored in to people's premiums. That cost is something insurance companies get to bring to OIR and say, "We got to raise our rates. We're spending too much on our lawyers." For the last almost 10 years of my legal career, I have had the honor and privilege of representing probably a constituent in every single one of your districts. And let me tell you, they don't want to hire me. They've called their agent. They've tried to work it out. And I do everything in my power to help them avoid litigation. But there's a reason why the litigation statistics are what they are. And as an outsider practicing and participating in this process for 5 years before I was elected, I came to these offices to say, there's another side to look at. But all this body has done for 4 years is strip away consumer rights. We have lowered the time frame that they have to report claims. We have changed AOB litigation. We have changed attorney's fees. And every time I was in a committee, I was told, takes 2 to 3 years to see those results. We know litigation is down 30%. Have any of our constituents' rates been reduced today as we all sit here? They haven't. When we changed the AOB reforms, have rates gone down? They haven't. So how do we reduce rates? Where in our laws in Florida do we mandate that when an insurance company receives a savings, how does that get passed back to a consumer? Well, it's in the reinsurance costs. And for who I have a lot of respect for, Chair Rommel, to say, well, I don't know how the private reinsurance market works. Well, I do, because I've sat on boards where all stakeholders are at the table and reinsurance is there. And the way we stabilize the reinsurance market is through capacity and through availability. And the private reinsurance market and our rating agents to ensure our federally backed mortgages are protected so our homeowners are meeting their requirements are going to require our insurance companies to have a reinstatement layer and to cover events that are more than just that are non-named events for those severe convective storms that our constituents face, for those hail events, for those bad summer storms that we're all accustomed to. So guess what? This FORA program doesn't provide for either of those. And when I asked Chair Leak, what is the goal of this bill yesterday in Commerce? The response was to stabilize the market. This doesn't stabilize it, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen is now we've given another $1 billion that doesn't fix the problem. That still requires our insurance companies to fulfill these two mandatory requirements. Well, when you piecemeal a car, it's more expensive. When you piecemeal any consumer product, it's going to be more expensive. So guess what? I promise you, FORA isn't going to result in any rate savings and any savings to the insurance companies that by law are going to get passed down to the consumer. And it won't stabilize the market because, as we saw with Southern Fidelity, whose report we finally received to tell us why they went insolvent, guess what one of the main reasons was? The inability to fulfill their 2022 reinsurance capacity. FORA is not going to help insurance companies fulfill that capacity. We needed to add the reinstatement portion and the non-named weather storms. So there's not stabilizing the market. Well, let's talk about our consumers. My colleagues and I have been vilified. We have been made to be the villains, those of us that help everyday Floridians. But let me tell you, to Mr. St. Cyrin, who had a Hurricane Irma claim, whose home's not located in the best neighborhood, who recently had lost his wife to cancer, who had 4 children to take care of as rain was pouring in his home, and his insurance company after a hurricane said, there was no wind-created event. I am a superhero to him. And let me tell you why. Because I spent almost 2 years fighting an insurance company to prove everything they had in their claim file. All of the information that's kept private, that's kept confidential, that I don't get access to as a lawyer. Years fighting to get it, and I got it, and I won. And I'm a superhero to him. But let me tell you, today after this bill, I won't be able to represent Mr. St. Cyrin and his family. Because why? Sure, are attorney's fees still available? Sure. But when a $30,000 case, when a somebody who doesn't live in a mansion on Sanibel Beach, doesn't have the ability to pay an hourly rate, when they come to me and say, I live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, my bathroom's not working, my insurance company denied my claim telling me this was pre-existing, they've never told me there were problems with my plumbing when they inspected it. My client for 2 years had to have a makeshift outhouse for her 3 children to shower and go to the bathroom while we fought her insurance company and won. And guess what? I won't be able to represent her after this bill. You want to know why? Because an insurance company is going to fight me for 2 years. In those big buildings with floors of lawyers, when they pass those rates on back to the consumer through their premium increases, they pay them whatever they want for as long as they want. There's a book. I highly recommend you all read it. It's called Delay, Deny, Defend. It's what they do. And if you can't hire a lawyer, despite what was presented, subsection KK, lines 2246 of this bill, now Citizens policyholders who are going to be paying more than the private marketplace, who are going to be required to have flood insurance, now, when they are making a claim for water damage against Citizens, has the burden of proving that damage was not caused by flood. Burden of proof sounds like a legal term to me. Well, where are they getting their lawyer? Ladies and gentlemen, I can't summarize to you in 5 minutes what a 13-year legal career looks like and the stories that I have. And this marketplace needs help. But you're not stabilizing the marketplace through FORA. You're not putting money back in your consumers' pockets. We are being told that maybe in the future they'll see something with no guarantee. And you're taking away everything they have to hold them accountable. Please vote no on this bill. Thank you.